Welcome back to America's Coach Podcast. Every single week, I like to bring you great content, great coaching. Obviously, I've been a coach most of my life, and in today's world, whether you're a leader, entrepreneur, CEO, or you're a real coach, you're a sports coach, we attract all kinds of coaches from around the world. A coach is a person that really engages you in a set of systematic behaviors that allows you to do something tomorrow you cannot do today. So we're getting into the psychology of how to coach to win. How to go from a good coach to a great coach. And it really reminds me of an old podcast I did many years ago called Good Coach, Bad Coach. Kiyosaki had Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I always thought the comparison there was good if you could compare and contrast what a good coach does versus a great coach. And what we're talking about on America's Coach is really the best of my business coaching combined with the best of my coaching for coaches and leaders out there in the world. So we're going to finish up today with the because goal. And what is because goal? A because goal is a big reason you do something when you don't feel like it. Most people are taught, to Simon Sinek's credit, to find their why or to start with why. And as I was traveling around the country, I noticed that people didn't know their why, right? He wrote start with why, which is how you explain something. And then he wrote, find your why. And I began to ask people, what's your why? And they couldn't tell me. I called 5 of my top money earners that I coach, and I go, what's your why? And they go, I don't know. Here's what they kept saying. It's just who I am. I get up and I go win. I get up and I go produce. I get up and I show up, right? They were conditioned somewhere in life to produce. I was conditioned by a single mother. And even to this day, at 48 years old, I hear my mom saying, we don't whine, we don't complain, we don't make excuses. An excuse is a self-proclaimed opt-out clause. We show up, we grow up, and we deliver. And when I think about this, I was acclimated to a great psychologist named Kevin Elko, Dr. Kevin Elko, who is Nick Saban's psychologist. And I have a lot of psychologists who are friends, mentors, Price Pritchett, the great psychologist who wrote Quantum Thinking, or Kevin Elko, who is Nick Saban's psychologist. And I study from these guys because one big regret I had was not getting my doctorate in psychology and going toward management and leadership. And I'll probably go back and get something in psychology because I'm just so fascinated by it. But I started going, could a leader or person know their why, know their purpose, and still not be motivated? And I would ask people, could you know your purpose and not be motivated? And they said, yes. Could I know my purpose and not feel like doing this today? Like, I know that God put me on earth to coach people. like it's obvious to me that's my purpose, right? But let's go deeper. Because why? Because people need a coach in their life, because this is what the best performers in the world do, because I want to be in the top 1% of the best people in the world, because I get a sense of purpose and meaning when I distribute my knowledge and skills. So Elko said to me one day, I like because goals versus find your why. Or I don't know if he said to find your why, but I go, that's it. Everybody does things because of a reason. Because I don't want to go back to where I came from, because I want to be better than somebody else did, because I want to be number one. And we started calling those in our coaching program because goals. When you know your because goals, it changes the behaviors you have. I do this because of this, right? Intrinsically or extrinsically, doesn't matter. Because I want to stay in a nice hotel, because I want to drive a nice car, because I want to have a better life, because I want my kids to have a better life, because I want to be the best. Whatever the because is, this is very important to the prey drive, because when you see me do the exercise A to B, which is an exercise I do in almost every coaching session, you're at A, and A is your current position. And everything you don't like about your current position, and somebody said, does it always have to be negative? Where there's no pain, there's no change. So focus on what you don't like and go, I don't like this. And I say, if you don't like it enough, you'll do something about it. B is your ideal state. When you're doing the exercise A to B. Now, what's going to happen between A and B is life is going to knock the shot out of you. And people are going to come along and let you down. And you're going to wake up and go to negative town. It's called catastrophizing. And all kinds of things are going to happen. And then you remember the because goal. I do this because of this. So I say you could know your purpose and be broke. You could know your purpose and not be motivated. You could know your purpose and feel lost and confused, even if you know your purpose. But when you know your because goals, it's like I dig in because of these reasons. I show up because I'm a pro, even when I don't feel like it, right? That's a big because goal. So as a leader, because this show is about the psychology and techniques and strategies that I use as one of the top coaches in the world, I want to know what people's because goals are. See, I want to know because of what? Why do you show up like this every day? Because I take personal pride in it, because I was raised a certain way, because I don't want to go back to where I came from, because I want to have a better life, because I want my kids to have a better life. Now, some people out there listening to this are probably going to argue and go, well, isn't that finding your why? I don't know if it's semantics. I just say I like because goes better than finding your why. So in between A and B, takes a lot of prey drive. Prey drive's got to be activated. It's got to be a persistence to the prey drive. There's got to be an intensity to the prey drive. Every study in the world is showing us that 18 to 30-year-olds struggle with a lack of understanding of how hard something will be, how fast they'll get to mastery and make money, and what is their skill set in relationship to the problem they're solving. I say they don't know how to activate the prey drive. They may not know how to persist with the prey drive, and that's where the because goal comes in. I don't feel like doing this today, but I'm going to do it because I'm a pro. That is a because goal. So I ask people, what's your because goal, man? I want to be the best at what I do. Okay, because of that, you're going to change your behavior. Because of that, you're going to become humble and teachable. Because of that, you're going to lose the buts and the whys, and you're going to have to dig in right here. Can you do that? How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about moving to a higher frequency? How serious are you about leaving your amateur desires behind and making a decision, which means to kill something off, to cut something away, to go pro? That is my ultimate embed and pre-frame when I'm speaking. Like, if you're serious, you're going to move toward me. I don't want to hear this is a good speech, coach. I don't want to hear, well, you wrote a good book. I want to hear, what do I have to do to work with you to get to that friggin' level? Right? I want my own greatness factories. I want to do bigger things. This is where we got to get to, folks, is knowing our deep because goals. So in closing today, I want to basically break down what we covered today, which is winning is not always about a scoreboard, because a scoreboard can lie to you. You can hit numbers sometimes and not put the performance in. The scoreboard is internal. I know, did I leave it all on the line? Did I show up? Did I grow up? Did I deliver? Am I engaged or disengaged? Am I in a rejuvenated state? Am I in a burnout state? Am I playing to the buzzard, or am I kind of checking out, man? You know if you're there or not there, okay? Today I went into the deep tools and communication and psychology. Some people call this emotional intelligence, that was made popular by Goldman in the 90s when he wrote Emotional Quotient, which was genius, by the way. Prey drive is emotional quotient. And this is the psychology that I use to get people to a much higher level after coaching people for years and years and years. The because goals, the A to B, right? The stories of coaching, the try different versus harder. These are tools that I use, that I build into coaches so that they can adapt and innovate and play at a much higher frequency, what I call a level 10 opportunity, or the NBO. The next big opportunity, because that's what everybody's looking for. You see, right now I'm trying to decide the next big book that I'm going to write. Typically it takes about 2 years to write a major published book. I talk about the NBO, the next big opportunity. I talk about because goals. I talk about this, and I'm like, what is the problem I would like to tackle, right? For people to play at a much higher frequency and help people achieve a much higher level of success. So if you're out there and you're watching and you are listening today and you enjoy today's episode, here's what I want to do. I want to grow this podcast. I need your help. Click the subscribe button. Leave a review. Watch me on YouTube. I'm going to pump these things out, and I'm going to help you become a better leader, a better coach, hopefully a better father, a better worker, Whatever it is you want to do in life, the psychology of performance at your peak level, your highest potential, is what a good coach in your life can do. I believe everybody needs a coach. I believe a good coach can change your life. And that good coach is going to do 3 things for you: have conversations with you that you may or may not want to have, get you to do some things you may or may not want to do, but they're going to help you become something you didn't think you could become. And everybody needs a coach in their life. I'm Coach Michael Burt. Thank you for joining me for another episode at the Greatness Factory Level 10 Studios for America's Coach. Remember, how do you coach to win versus playing not to lose? That's what we talk about here on America's Coach Podcast, on how to be a winning coach. Whether you're a leader, boss, manager, or you're a true coach in life, how do you coach to win versus playing not to lose? I'm Coach Michael Burt, and this is America's Coach.